Good evening, warm welcome to the program. Today we are going to see one more new episode containing supply chain interview question and answer. In fact, I have prepared a glossary of nearly 100 question and answer in the YouTube channel. You can visit the YouTube channel. Today I have picked some questions on the internet which are very popular, so I will try to answer those questions. In fact, this program is live streamed apart from LinkedIn in other channels like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. If you have any questions, you are welcome to comment. And if you want to ask any questions during the program, you can also type the question, or those questions can be taken up in the next telecast. So allow me to attach the screen. Hope all of you are able to see my screen and hear me. So welcome again. Today topic is supply chain interview question and answer. In the other session, I am doing a job description that is totally different. That can provide some guidance how you can build your skill so that you can get a higher possibility of getting into interview. The first step. This is the second step. Having entered into the interview room doesn't automatically entail you for the job. So you have to even clear this round. So let us see what are all the possible questions which can come, and maybe I will go through 5 to 10 questions and answer today. Meanwhile, if any one of you have any similar question, you can type them in the comments. Either we will do it today or in the coming session. Before I dive into the program, let me introduce myself. My name is Pattabhiraman. This is my LinkedIn profile. You are welcome to connect or follow me in LinkedIn. I am also in the Udemy, where I am nearly 200 the candidate enrolled for various supply chain and allied programs. Coming to my profile, I am an engineer with a PG degree in management and data science. I have nearly 2 decades working in this global organization. I have started my career in Bosch as a planning engineer, where I have continued for nearly 15 years and then moved on to other company organization. I have handled every subdomain in the supply chain at various levels, and in last 10 years in my assignment, I was heading head-to-head supply chain management. In the last 4 years, I am CEO of the current organization known as Thoughtware Training. As far as certifications concerned, I am certified by APIX. Maybe if you are in the job market, and also if you are a supply chain executive, you should be knowing about this certification. If not, please Google up. There is a similar organization called DDI, and they provide similar certifications. Like for example, DDPP means Demand Driven Planner Professional. I am also a certified purchasing manager apart from project management professional qualified in analytics. As far as our organization is concerned, we are 5-year-old organization based in Bangalore. We provide both consulting and training in the field of supply chain and allied domain. One of our popular globally recognized program is on supply chain analytics, where we have participants across the world. We operate under the trade name Expert SEM. Now let us dive to the question. One of the popular question asked in the internet is, what are the different materials and capacity planning levels you have been involved with, and how. So here there are two different portions. One is on material planning, second on capacity planning. So material planning starts with master production scheduling, and then the next level is MRP, material requirement planning. So as a planning core supply chain planning guy, you are expected to know the process in supply planning or material planning, and also having some knowledge about PP, production planning module. That's where you can execute the MRP and related thing, but more focused towards the process behind the material planning, how you are planning the order quantity, whether what method, when you are planning to order, and how you are managing the safety stock. Overall inventory management background is required to answer this planning. Coming to other portion, capacity planning, of course, in a manufacturing environment, you should also know what capacity is available. So you need to have a different range of horizon of capacity planning. For example, for a long range in the 5 year term, 10 years term, you need to have some kind of a vision. Second level could be intermediate level. That's where we use something called rough cut capacity planning, where you are going to check the capacity available at the critical or constrained resources. And finally, it comes to the capacity requirement planning. Maybe this capacity CRP is also a module in ERP, most of the ERP, but most of the organization do not use this because they want to use some kind of a infinite loading. Because if they use finite loading, then the solution may not be proper. So I have seen many organizations using the manual capacity planning. So they need to have the capacity of their various work centers, mission wise, and their process capability to have a detailed capacity planning. So to answer both this portion, you need to know various hierarchy which differs in terms of planning horizon and the detail required, and each one will happen at a different level. If you are in core planning, then handling MRP and CRP may be relevant, and not only the process, the ERP usage will also become more relevant to answer this question. Meanwhile, anyone who are watching live, if you have any doubt with respect to this question, you can always type in the comment. And also, you note there are various ways to answer this question, because I have been handling the material planning and supply planning, each with a duration of say 5 hours, 10 hours each. So, but in a consolidated way, you have to answer it maybe in 2 or 3 minutes, not more than that. So possibly there are various ways to answer it. Maybe I am giving one way of answering it, but if you are in the field, you should also explore various other ways. Based on the further questions, then you can develop your answer format. Okay, let us go to the second question. How do you manage to leverage the conflicting manufacturing, financial, and planning objective in your past experience? You know, many organizations have an internal conflict. Okay, the sales guy will say you need to keep inventory near to the customer, and he wants more inventory. Also, like a production guy wants his capacity should be utilized to the maximum extent, so he also wants more inventory. Whereas finance guy or supply chain guy will be looking for optimizing the inventory. So day to day there will be lot of struggle and fighting or finger pointing between the functions or the departments, and maybe you are not going to solve the customer issue if you handle in this way. This is where There is a process called SNOP, which is Sales and Operation Planning, where this is a cross-functional problem resolving process where you are going to escalate the problem which are not solved at a lower level, where you can have a clear directive from the management, or maybe you can also propose the best possible way and take the approval. So to answer this question, you should know SNOP process in specific, and what are the activities involved, how you can bring such kind of a problem to SNOP. And of course, SNOP is not a shortage meeting. Here we are trying to bridge the gap between demand and supply at volume level. We don't discuss mix in this meeting. I hope that SNOP word is the key for answering this specific question. Anyone having any further clarification, you can always refer to this question number and ask your question. Let us move to the next question, number 3. Have you contributed to innovate in either products or services supply chain to accelerate your company's sales growth? A nice question. Being a supply chain position, here we are trying to link with the company sales growth. So when you talk about sales growth, the stock outs or material availability should come to your mind. You should ensure the material is continuously available, but buy suitable material or supply planning, inventory management, maybe by suitable safety stock. So you should analyze what demand is going on, which product, which region is selling fast, and accordingly support the sales. Because maybe now demand planning is also a part of supply chain position, so you should be knowing about prediction, demand prediction, and accordingly align your production planning or supply planning to meet the customer requirement. So possibly here the KPI related could be fill rate or customer service level, or even it could be number of stock outs, number of items which is not available in shelf when the when the customer wants it. Okay, so how many instances were there in a month and over a period of time, how you are able to reduce. So you should be in a position to demonstrate. When we talk about sales or marketing, the priority comes to material availability rather than inventory optimization. So you should talk in terms of customer service level, or stock out, elimination or minimization, or providing better service level to the customer. So there are various KPIs available for this. If any one of you have any doubts or clarification, you are always welcome to type in the comments. Let us move to the next question. Have you supported your company improvement in cost efficiency through long-term supplier relationship? So here the focus is on cost as well as towards the supply end. The previous question we were focusing on customer side, but here supplier side. So cost efficiency in supplier, it's not only by negotiation. Okay. Nowadays we are working towards minimizing the number of suppliers, so that can happen only through alliances or collaboration with the vendor, limited number of vendor. And when we talk about cost efficiency, you have to work with the supplier partner and try to see how you can support the supplier in terms of optimizing its process. In purchasing, we also call something like should cost. Should cost means you should know what is the process used by the supplier, what is the charges, what is the resources being used, and you should be in a position to able to say for any part this should be the cost and add a margin to it. And of course, for this, you need to study the supplier process, for which you need a collaboration. For this, you need to have a better collaboration, then only you can achieve it. Of course, there are various tools are available for this. Apart from the negotiation, negotiation is only not only the tool. Possibly you might have heard about vendor managed inventory or consignment inventory. Those formats can help apart from having different levels of association or collaboration or alliance with the supplier partner. Okay. So here specifically talking about cost efficiency, you cannot say only by negotiation I am going to cut the cost. No, the cost efficiency should come in terms of collaborating with the partner and studying the process, supplying, developing the vendor towards the better process, and mutually sharing the benefit you are going to attain, the cost benefit. And of course here we are not talking about one party gaining the benefit and other party is losing it. No, it should be a mutual benefit to the both the partners. Okay, meanwhile anyone of you watching, you can type the comments. Next question: does every professional require a basic knowledge or two about MS Excel and SAP? Of course, if you are in the supply chain, essentially you need to know both of this. Okay. In fact, if you are not at a executive level, even at a entry level, you need to use Excel for capturing the data and doing some basic analysis. When we say Excel, at least you should have a knowledge about the intermediate Excel, like you are doing filtering, sorting, or highlighting, and doing some pivot table. All this become intermediate. But now organization are expecting something more than that in terms of Excel. I can call that as a advanced Excel, where you are expected to know some kind of macros, Visual Basic, as well as some add-in tools. For example, Solver, What If analysis. All these tools, knowledge is becoming essential in current days world. As far as SOP is concerned, if you are still looking for a job and a pressure, you need not spend huge money in learning SAP. SAP or any ERP is a transaction software. You are just trying to record the transaction. Possibly learning any a simple application, you should be knowing it, because you may not get a query on, okay, what is the transaction has to be done to post this or get the output like this. No, it is maybe a 2 hours or 3 hours learning when you join any organization. So you need not focus much on the SAP or any other ERP. Some basic knowledge, of course there are platforms available for free or lesser cost, which can train you, but you have to take some training in the relevant domain, not the back end. Here we are looking for front end application, means as a functional user, you should know only such application which is relevant. Let us go to the next question. Please mention the similarity and differences between supply chain and logistic. So there were earlier lot of confusion between logistic and supply chain, and people were using it interchangeably. Okay, but in the current context, we are seeing logistic is one subdomain of supply chain. Supply chain is end-to-end management, starting from demand planning, supply planning, purchasing, PPC, then warehousing, logistic, transportation, distribution, all that. So you can see logistic one small portion. In any case, if you take the similarity, both supply chain and logistic is working towards customer service level. Nothing, no function in an organization can say, I am not working towards the customer. Everybody is working towards customer. So that is the similarity. Either you are in logistic or any other part of supply chain, the first main objective should be how you can improve the customer service level. And of course, when it comes to internal organization, you should see how you are planning to reduce the cost of operation or reduce the time of operation. All this is going to help you. Okay, so we have seen similarity in terms of customer service as well as cost optimization could be similarity, whereas the difference is logistic is one subdomain focusing mainly on the movement of the goods, whereas if you take supply chain, there our focus is on end-to-end supply chain management. So, is there any doubts or questions so far? I will try to do similar 5 or 6 questions every week. If you have any of your questions, you are welcome to share with me in the comments so that I can take up in next session. So there is a question from Vishab Masule. Please explain difference between RFP and RFQ. Okay, he is talking about request for proposal and request for quotation. Okay, this is more related towards purchasing. Okay, when you have a major project, in the first instance, you are not going to take the quote. You are just going to take a proposal. Okay, even before the proposal, if the project is mega project, even you can ask for request for information. So maybe with 30 or 40 vendors, you will ask basic details, what you are doing, who are the promoters, what kind of project you have done. That is the step number one. Especially these are done for mega projects. Step number two, when we talk about request for proposal, maybe selected vendors, we will ask them for a proposal. It could be a design, maybe here cost is not important. Okay, here we are not going to take from all the 30 or 40 suppliers from the previous stage. Maybe select 8 to 10 vendors. We will ask them an open proposal. Okay, our requirement is like this. What is your proposal in terms of technical is given more importance. Possibly, you can also ask supplier to indicate a tentative cost for the proposal. But here the objective is not a detailed quotation. When it comes to the third stage, here you have to shortlist maybe 4 or 5 vendors and ask for the detailed commercial code. Okay, so this may not be applicable if you are looking for a standard product which is available readily in the market. Here, the request for information or proposal comes when we are talking about a unique customized project and some technical detail. Maybe as a buyer, you are also not clear, so you are also investigating whether there is any better technology is available in the market. So you are trying to track from the vendors whether anything is possible. So you are going in a multiple way. You are not starting with a negotiation, but you are trying to judge who is the better supplier. There is one more question from Jayant Kumar Das. His question is, what are the cost saving method in supply chain? Okay, if the cost saving is a very wide question, I am not sure whether you are in planning or logistic or procurement. But if you are in the planning, then I can assume the main question will be on inventory optimization. How you can optimize inventory. Of course, inventory optimization is not one sentence solution. There are a lot of things which you have to take up. For example, it starts with how much ordering quantity you have to order. Then the second step is when to order, and third step is what kind of safety stock you have to plan. By having the right quantity of material at right time, you can of course do the inventory optimization. And inventory optimization is one of the key strength for the supply chain professional. Okay, so you can see if you are in logistic, the cost will be a different portion. If you are in a purchasing, it could be a different one. Okay, so any other questions? Even if you are not watching live, you can type the question in the comment so that these questions can be consolidated for the next session. Is there any other questions? All the sessions are recorded and available in our YouTube channel. Not only this current session, even the previous sessions are available in our YouTube channel. You are requested to subscribe and watch this video. Of course, all these are free of cost. Okay, we are not charging anything for this. And Jayanta Kumar says he is in the indirect procurement. Of course, indirect procurement, it could be either capital goods or services or such a similar thing. This is where if you are in a purchasing function and your organization is investing huge money in purchasing this kind of indirect material, you should know a concept called should cost. Should costing. Please Google up because that itself can be a one session. For any item you are taking, you should know approximately if you are buying some item, you should know what are the components there. Assume you are buying some electronic item, a control panel. You should know what are the components of control panel, what kind of cabling is used, what length, what is the weight of the panel, what are the different specification. Roughly, you should estimate the cost even before you send the quotation. Okay, before you ask the quotation. Okay. So hope I have answered to some extent. For purchasing executive, you don't go directly for negotiation. Negotiation by squeezing the supplier, all are gone. Now the method is you should know the cost of the product or service you are getting it. So you should specialize in that aspect. Okay, the era is gone where you will get quotation from three or five supplier and only cut the supplier in terms of cost will not work out. You should know the product what you are buying in terms of technical aspect. You have to arrive at some cost even before talking to the vendors. Okay, we will conclude this session. Meanwhile, you can type in the comments. I can consolidate and answer in the next session. Thanks for watching. Have a nice evening. Bye.